the MP asked this question in Parliament, and the minister replied, well, we'll see what action, if any, can be taken. What do you mean? What action, if any, can be taken? Come on. What's Equity doing to support the Rockstar workers?
Nigel Cecil, calling things out.
For whom the bell chimes. The clock's chiming the time, and is the time now ticking down on Rockstar? Chuckabutties, welcome. Thank you for joining me, moi, Nigel Cecil, and thank you to our regular viewers and to those amongst our regular viewers who have the time to get in touch via our usual email address and bring to the attention of Hilary and moi your comments, views, observations and questions, so then we may present those topics equally and fairly into the public domain in order to stimulate some discussion into the public domain. Why? Because some of you are a little bit fearful of cancel culture. But at our age, what do Hilary and moi care about cancel culture, especially when it comes to showbiz topics? Well, indeed, in all sorts of topics nowadays. I'm digressing already, aren't I, Hilary? Have you looked at the opening caption for this video? Because Colin and Brian brought this topic to our attention. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Brian. At the top of the caption, Rockstar, Rockstar, and then the capitals at the bottom, GTA 6 workers sacked, trying to get union recognition. And then in the center of the caption, Equity, late to the uptake. These extra notes, because I do digress, don't I, Hilary? We're not really sure about this topic, so we have done some research. And the research leads us to conclude that this topic strikes at the very core values of what trade unions and trade unionism representing their workers is all about. GTA 6, Grand Theft Auto, a video game earning billions for the companies behind the scenes who own it. And one of those is Rockstar. And apparently Rockstar, well, they've sacked some of their workers, and some are saying it's because of their trade union activities. Equity late to the uptake. Well, Colin and Brian received an email late Thursday afternoon, they're telling us, which said Equity were supporting the Rockstar workers at a protest that was taking place the following morning, Friday. And they've said, Nigel, that's a little bit short notice. What's going on? So we did the research because it does sound like short notice. I don't know how many members turned up from Equity, but we have found the videos on the internet about what went on. Indeed, there's one particular YouTube channel called People Make Games, and Chris has presented a video on People Make Games, which really is brilliant at explaining what is going on. So we'll put the link for People Make Games and Chris into the video notes. Do have a look if you want more information. But a week or so ago, was it? We're not quite sure, but we are trying our best. Christine Jardine, the Liberal Democrat MP for Edinburgh West, asked a question in Parliament because some of the workers from Rockstar are in her constituency. They've got headquarters in London and America, and indeed in Canada. We hear that this topic has actually rippled the waves in Canada. And Christine asked the Labour minister a question about her constituents who had lost their job apparently for trying to get union recognition within Rockstar. Now, Rockstar, of course, are saying non-disclosure agreements. This group were talking about, well, company business in a group outside the company. And so Rockstar said, well, they broke confidentiality. They've got to be sacked. And it just so happens that the ones who were sacked amongst the 30 were the main activists for the Games Workers Unite, their union. And they, because we're not quite sure about this, but it seems when you get to sort of 10% or so, the company under UK law have to recognise the union. And of course, we all know where big money is concerned. All the big bucks. Just look at the Pride Festival in Manchester. All the big bucks. Who gets paid last, the latest, and the least, and treated the worst are the workers at the bottom, the ones who really are the grafters. And that appears in this company. Some workers have come together and said, we need to discuss our terms and working conditions. Now, you then think, well, why has equity left it to such a late time? It is true to say we found a posting on Equity's social media accounts from over a week ago where they've expressed support for the Rockstar workers. But what does support mean? And why does this topic strike at the very heart of trade unionism and trade union movement? It's because trade unions traditionally always are based on representing the interests of the workers, not primarily the superstars up there, not the ones earning millions of bucks, but the workers. And when Christine Jardine in Parliament asked that question to the minister, what's going on and what can we do about these workers apparently being sacked for trying to bring trade unions within the company? Now, of course, the company are going to have a different point of view, but the MP asked this question in Parliament, and the minister replied, well, we'll see what action, if any, can be taken. What do you mean? What action, if any, can be taken? Come on. What's Equity doing to support the Rockstar workers? Because if it is going on, and a mega company with billions of pounds is actually bashing the union, well, we've all got to band together. Now, some of you, we can hear you saying, Nigel, what are you talking about? You're not a socialist, progressive, activist member of the Labour Party. No, we're not. But when it comes to workers, believe it or not, our roots are in a working class background, in a city, back-to-back terraced houses, where we had core values that really, well, they overarchingly united us all, no matter what our party political beliefs. There were certain values that really were enshrined in what Great Britain, our United Kingdom, is all about. And so as workers, we all come together and help each other. So when we looked at this topic, we thought, well, the Game Workers Unite, now Equity, have got their campaign, Game On, representing creatives within the industry, voiceovers, and indeed, the Voiceover Audio Committee in Equity did a tweet the other day, and they mentioned the union involved, the Game Workers Unite Union. And then we did a little bit more research, and it turns out that the Independent Workers of Great Britain, their union, well, the game workers are a section within that union, getting more and more complicated. And then we realized that the Independent Workers Union of Great Britain arose because some members of Unison, a mega union, decided and felt that they weren't being represented properly within Unison. So they left Unison and formed their own trade union, the Independent Workers Union of Great Britain. They got involved in a dispute with, where's the note? Yes, the Royal Opera House in London. They campaigned successfully for recognition of the London living wage. And they were also involved with a dispute with John Lewis, and they've been very successful. But guess what? They're not affiliated, or when we checked just now, a short time ago, they're not affiliated to the TUC. They're not affiliated. So does this mean that there's a reticence with other trade unions, the TUC and Equity, to come out and actively support them? We hope not, because if it is a case of union bashing, then we really do have to all come together and say, this is not on. And this Labour minister saying they'll see what action can be taken, if any, it really isn't acceptable. So please, if you have the opportunity, have a look at this video by Chris and People Make Games and see what you think and let us know, because it does to us feel like a very important issue. Now, Hillary, you've got someone on the telephone line there. We'll just stop the video and see if we've got any questions coming in, because I know Colin and Brian were waiting to know what we were going to do on their behalf. Check with us in a couple of minutes. Stop the video, Hillary.
Nigel Cecil, calling things out.
Hello, Chuckabutties. Hillary, that really was a phone call from one of our regular viewers, coincidentally asking when we were going to post this video. So thank you for getting in touch. And this really is an important topic. Spread the word, bang the gong, beat the drums, ring the bell, shout it out. All activists, progressive socialists, or even, dare I say, conservatives, get together to protect the right of the workers in the workplace, if it is indeed, and it appears to be, a case of union bashing to stop union recognition within Rockstar. We all do need to be united together, regardless of whether we're affiliated to the TUC or where our roots originate. So, we'll finish off this video, as always when it comes to trade union equity matters. To all artists, good work. To all workers, good art. And to everyone, to all people everywhere, equity. And when it comes to showbiz, creativity, don't forget, Chuckabutties, we need to keep our professional fingers crossed. Solidarity, everyone.